Hello everyone, my name is Hattie Ekholm, and this is my final presentation for Math 690. My topic is on essential oils and how complex variables have been used in the world of essential oils. So I picked this topic because it's kind of one that I'm passionate about. A few years ago, my son suffered from allergies, and I just was trying everything to figure out what to give him. I didn't want to do medicine, just the over-the-counter medicine. You're constantly giving them that. I didn't want to do the shots. So one of my friends suggested essential oils. So basically, what essential oils are they're a plant medicine. They were used way back in history, before modern day medicine came about. And then just as modern day medicine came about, essential oils kind of fell to the sidelines. So just in the last 20, 30 years, they've kind of been making a comeback. And it was really fun researching how essential oils are actually used, how the chemists actually create the essential oils and get the essential oils out of the plants. And it was just kind of fascinating. And I struggled with this project until I was like, okay, I can do this. Essential oils, there's something that I'm passionate about, something that I love. And I knew that I could find something as far as complex variables in this topic. So essential oils are basically a plant medicine. They're oils that come directly from plants, different plants. There are three different types of ways that the medicine is used. There's ingestion, which I do put oils in my food, and water. And apple cider and all that kind of stuff. You can apply it directly to your skin, and I do that as well. And then the third one is inhalation. And you can see kind of in the background there, I have my essential oil diffuser going right now with an allergy blend in it for my son. So that is kind of about essential oils. So when I first started looking into essential oils, I guess I'd never heard of frequencies and as far as the human body. So in my research, I found that the healthy human body is usually at a 62 to 70 megahertz frequency. And then here's some other kind of frequencies at which, maybe your body would not be feeling well. So the use of essential oils can make your human body create a higher frequency in your body so that you stay healthy. Okay. So this is just kind of a chart here on the frequencies of each oil. So each oil, because it comes from a plant, it comes from a living thing, it has a frequency to it. So I thought that was pretty cool. So here's quite a few essential oils and their frequencies. All right. So how do essential oils work as far as inhalation? Okay, so I'm just going to talk kind of about diffusers and how a diffuser works and how that could relate to the complex variables. So basically, an essential oil goes into a diffuser, into a, here's my other one here, so I can show you that. So I would put a couple drops of the oil in here, and then I would add water. And this is a cool mist ultrasonic diffuser. So it uses ultrasonic waves. Inside there, you can see that it's a ceramic disc. And what happens is that that ceramic disc vibrates, creating ultrasonic waves. So when I plug it in, turn it on, it creates these waves. And what it does then is it breaks the oil up into microscopic particles within the water. And then the diffuser disperses the the water and the oil into the air in the form of a fine mist. And then you can inhale it. It disperses throughout your home. I also thought that would be a cool thing to kind of look at if you could, as far as how quickly the oils disperse within your house. If I was more of a mathematician and a chemist, and that would be super cool to do some kind of experiment on the circulation of the particles within the air and how that affects your health and the inhalation of essential oils. So basically, a diffuser is a delivery device for plant medicine. So it just gets the oils into the air and then into our body as we inhale it. So this disc that was in here, this ceramic disc, creates, like I said, those ultrasonic vibrations, and it is vibrating at a super high frequency. So you're going to get, the really tight kind of waves as you're going there. So that kind of interests me, and I'm like, hey, it's, and it's kind of, like the graphs and such that we were looking at. So now more to how do, let's see, sorry, where am I going next? All right, here we go. So where are the complex variables in all of this? So in looking through some, I Googled a whole bunch of things and I did some research, and a lot of it didn't really make sense to me because, again, I am not, I'm not a math major. I don't deal with these types of numbers. I just teach math. But I think what's important to remember here is that although we don't use complex variables every day, we teach them in Algebra 2, but do we really teach the students what, why they're useful? No, we just teach them what is an imaginary number? What is I? So we don't really get into that, but I think it is important to know, and I think something that I took away from this class is that it's important to know that everything in life, there's math behind it. So I think that is a cool thing that I took away from this class. It's a lot of math that not a lot of people use, but it's there. It's there kind of hidden behind everything else. So in my research here, I found that, I'll scroll through and show you here. So with essential oils, they use something called chromatography, and basically what it is it's a method of separating the components. So obviously the oil, you want to separate that into those tiny little particles, and then obviously distribute it into the air. So chromatography is kind of just a way to kind of take a look at all the different parts of the oil. Okay. And so up here, right, when we are looking at those different parts, I found that they use, it's called gas chromatography, and they actually use Fourier transform infrared. So they actually use the things that we've been talking about, the Fourier series and that, so that we can switch from, if you're in time and absorption, you can switch to frequency and wavelengths, and you can kind of flip-flop back and forth. And I guess that's, kind of what I gathered. Again, I was reading a lot of this, and a lot of it didn't make sense, but for the most part, I kind of gathered just basic understanding of how essential oils and diffusers work, and how the chemists actually take a look at all this to make sure that the oils that you are getting are of high quality. So this was from Techopedia. They explained the Fourier transform series. So it says the absolute value of the Fourier transform represents the frequency value present in the original function, and its complex argument represents the phase offset of the basic sinusoidal in that frequency. So a lot of the graphs that I found, such as here, so the highs and lows of, so this GC is the, let me see here, I remember. Gas chromatographic. So this is just basically a process that they use to analyze the essential oils. So this was a graph that I found, and this had to do with the frequency and the wavelengths of an oil. Okay, and here's another slide that I thought this was interesting. So this gas chromatography, so the breaking apart of the particles, basically these are some of the things that it could do, right? You can identify volatile compounds, you can percentages with reasonable accuracy, help identify adulterants or contaminants, help to compare similar essential oils. So there's a lot of different essential oil companies out there. So the math, the chemistry, all of the Fourier transforms, they can help us figure out what is kind of the best type of essential oil and what is happening to the oil as the compounds are broken apart. There's a lot of things that it still won't do. But again, it's good for analysis and kind of deciding what's best there. Here's some other things I found. So they use the Fourier transform. So it says the spectrometers are used to modulate the wavelength from a broadband infrared source. Right? So again, you have the reflected light as a function of its wavelength, right? And then we can kind of transform those into percentage of light transmittance or absorbance at each wave number. So again, here's some more graphs. You can look at it. It's great. I guess I don't know exactly what everything is saying, but I just found it fascinating that even in the essential oils that I use every day, there's math lying behind it, and complex variables in that. So maybe someday I'll have time to research the chemistry and more of the mathematical ties to essential oils. But for now, I guess the class helped me to understand that that complex variables are everywhere. Like the professor says, they're beautiful. They create beautiful things in the world around us, and that's about all that I have for you. So hopefully you found this interesting, not real mathematical, but to me, this is what I learned. So thank you for listening.